one-piece curved glass, up to 10 120mm fans, and a dual chamber design to separate the temperatures of the hottest components and the cable management mess. This sounds perfect. On paper, really, but we have to see if when it comes time to mount the motherboard, the graphics card, the RGB, all of this becomes a reality. And that is exactly why today I am so excited to be bringing you the brand new NZXT H6 RGB Plus, which is truly something special. So without wasting any more time, let's see how this case is. We're talking about a PC case mid-tower. Okay, with measurements of 448mm high, 292mm wide, and 420mm deep, and a volume of 55 liters. Regarding the weight, it's pretty heavy because it weighs 9.3 kilograms. But hey, the rig is gonna stay put, and the weight, honestly, in a way, it's not a deal breaker for buying it. Especially this model, because as I said, it's the RGB Plus version. And now let's get to the Plus. This one includes 2 frames, with 3 120mm fans each, and one 120mm fan in the back. One of the things I really liked, besides other things about this PC case is that to remove any of the 3 removable panels, which I'll explain how, they come off, there aren't any screws. It's much cleaner in that. Even if it sounds unbelievable, it's convenient and secure because it's not like they're gonna come off with a simple bump, or if you move it, they will just come off like that. Since we're talking about the panels, I'll tell you that the pattern or mesh on both the side of the second chamber and the top one come with this mesh, which also acts as a dust filter. So over time, you'll see that it's gonna accumulate and you can just wipe it off with a cloth. It is actually much more practical, and you will find that there is also one located on the bottom. It's a bit awkward to remove, that's true, because it comes with magnets. There is a dust filter located right on the bottom, which helps keep the internal components clean. I have to say, it's a little tricky to remove. It's awkward, not tricky, and it comes out. There we have the classic removable dust filter. To put it back on, it's simple, but sometimes to take it out, it's true that it's kind of awkward, but once it's in, with those magnets it has, it just sticks to the PC chassis and that's it. Also, some things are implementing in many cases, or PC case is the single piece curved glass. That's good because you'll avoid having that seam right between the 2 tempered glass panels, and honestly, it just looks much nicer and cleaner visually. Also, I'm going to show you in the footage now that the tempered glass is quite thick. The truth is, it's quite good. The only thing I would really improve is that right down there at the very bottom, it could use a bit more detail. There is no protective trim around it, so if you're going to take it off and set it down, be very careful, because even though it's thick, and the truth is, it's quite thick, a bad hit can break it. It already happened to me, not with this PC case, but with another PC case. Also with glass that wasn't as thick as this one, but still quite thick. I set it down wrong and it just shattered, so that's something I would improve for future models of this PC case. Alright, now I'm gonna explain it to you. It's very simple how to remove the panels and the order. Okay, because to remove this one, you can't take out the glass first. You have to remove another one first. The top one comes off first. We pull up and then it just pops right off. It's finally done. Okay, and now you can remove the glass, or the back one, or the side panel of the dual chamber. Let's remove this one first. And look, you just pull and that's it. And it comes off. And here you're left with the dual chamber, which I'll tell you about now. What does it come with? Because there was a surprise from you that I wasn't expecting. Well, and then to remove the glass, you just have to pull it to this side. That's it. And it comes off. See? It comes off. Watch out, it could fall. Because there's nothing that, let's say, locks it or prevents it from falling. So you take it out and that's it. Do you see what I was telling you about the bottom part? It really makes a big difference. That on this front part and on the top one. It does come with this metal, so it fits into the PC chassis. But, well, I think it wouldn't hurt to have something here. Because, like I said, if you set it down too hard on the floor, it could end up breaking or at least cracking my glass. Let's move on to the materials. I'm gonna leave you some reference image of the materials in the finishes, but there really isn't much to say. You know that I really like NZXT as a brand. I've already done a lot of reviews of the vast majority of their cases, their PC case, and they still haven't sent me any. I'm keeping an eye out to see if they send me something. I've already done almost all of their cases. I'm only missing the H3. Look, so if they want to send me one for a review, it's welcome. But anyway, the finishes are very good. There isn't edges that could end up cutting you. You will find no misplaced screws or rivets anywhere, and the paint finish is completely uniform. Well, in that regard, as always, it also has this gray detail. Here it has the NZXT logo. This logo that, in principle, when you connect everything, it turns on and lights up white. So that's good. And back here too. Here it comes with a gray detail as well. The stand on the bottom part, that is exactly where you will find the power button. Moving along, you will also see two USB-A 3.2 General 1 ports right there, and one USB 3.2 Gen 2x2 USB-C and the headphone jack. Well, at the beginning, I mentioned the 10 fans because here you can put 3 on the right front end, 3 on the bottom, 3 on the top, and 1 in the back. That's 10 120 millimeter ones. Regarding the all-in-one liquid cooling, I think it falls a little short. Why is that? Well, it's simply because the case only supports mounting radiators on the top panel, which limits your cooling options. Up to 360 millimeter radiator, and on the moving back, the measurement is exactly 120 millimeters. On the right front side, you actually can install it there, unfortunately. Any type of radiator, and on the bottom, of course, neither one. As I mentioned earlier, I'll still be showing you some detailed close-up images to help clarify. Here we have and it's quite interesting to look at, drive bracket, which in this case supports up to 2 2.5-inch drives and one 3.5-inch drive. This is removed by taking out this screw. So we pull up just a little bit more and then we have the bracket right there in front of us. Okay, the 2 SSD would go here, one here, and another one inside. The 3.5 HDD would go on the inside, and the surprise I got is that it incorporates a control hub light to power and control the lighting of the 2 frames and the fan. 120 millimeter rear fan, so that's a very positive thing. I'll tell you the price later. But I think that with everything you're about to see, even though the price isn't low, but I think it's worth it because it really is a nice PC case. Well, then these cable guides come included. As you know, the dual chamber has been implemented by almost all brands for a few years now. The main thing is to separate the power supply, which is what they say. For me, that's not the case. But hey, it's one of the components that generates the most heat. As you know, I did a comparison on the channel between a PC case with a dual chamber and one without, and there's practically no difference. I didn't notice more than 1 or 2 degrees. So if a dual chamber increases the price significantly, and you're on a tight budget, I'd recommend you go for one that doesn't have a dual chamber, unless the components or the use you give them is that 100% every day, all the time. Well, there might be a little more difference there. But for the kind of use I give it, for editing or gaming, I think the price difference in terms of the temperature isn't worth it. Another interesting thing about this case is that you'll see these holes, these cutouts. They aren't just for routing cables. They can be used to route cables, but they're actually made, and that is because this PC case is fully compatible with the motherboard back connect system. What does that mean? They're actually motherboard that come with the connectors located on the back, and they're quite easy to install, and not on the front like a conventional motherboard. Okay, that said, something very important. This compatibility is only with back connect ATX motherboards. For example, ASUS calls BTF and MSI, also known as Project Zero. Well, only an ATX size. If it's smaller, it's not compatible because the holes are designed for ATX motherboards. This is very important and you have to keep it in mind. If you have a motherboard, check that it is of that size or it won't work. Something interesting, it also includes an anti-sag bracket for the GPU so it doesn't tilt and stays level instead of using one of those external supports. I had one around here. Those adapters that adjust in height, it directly comes with this integrated support. You'll be seeing close-up images. It has a screw here, and in principle, you can adjust its height. So depending on the graphics card you have and the height of the graphics card, you can adjust it, and that way you avoid that. Over time, the graphics card ends up straining the motherboard connector. Okay, would you like to see how the PC looks when it's completely assembled, with the components turned on and configured? Well, I'll just leave you with some beautiful images for now. Build complete. So now I'm going to tell you, for me, the good and the bad, in quotes, what could be improved, and overall, the build is quite easy. In any PC case, whatever the size, brand, or model, you always have to have an order, so that you don't have to disconnect and connect things 1,000 times. But the only but I would add to improve it in future versions, and I'm going to show you in images, is simply the empty space that is left over when you don't actually use that connect motherboard, but a normal one like this. To route the wider cables, let's say, the thicker ones, like the graphics card power cables, or like this one, which also has a special connector on the bottom of the motherboard. Maybe I would make it a little bit wider to make it a bit more comfortable. Okay, but otherwise, both the radiator installation process seems fine. You have enough clearance to reach in and manipulate things, then proceed by carefully routing the CPU power cables over to the other side of the unit. Honestly, the assembly isn't complicated, except for that, which I would improve with a little more space. Like I said, in general, I didn't find it complicated at all. In fact, it's one of the cases where I found the assembly to be easiest, and they highlight above all that these fans are specifically designed to better direct the airflow and ensure that the airflow is optimized for maximum efficiency throughout the entire system, over the components that heat up the most, like the graphics card and the CPU. Nothing else, because the rest doesn't heat up as much, obviously. So what else can I tell you? The support for the GPU does its job. It does, it's true, it does. Graphics cards do this, like this. Because of the weight, because it's attached here at the back on the motherboard, and in this case, the support there at the tip. So if it is actually very heavy, it could tilt like this, but with that support, it works very well. Regarding the noise, well, the PC is at idle and practically makes no noise. So that's a positive thing. Obviously, when I push it, the fans will sound more, but right now, it's very, very quiet. So that's a positive point. And well, to summarize the promises of NZXT, I think they've pulled it off really well. They've really delivered, honestly, because large components fit in comfortably. It doesn't feel too cramped. Even though it is technically a mid-tower case, as I mentioned right at the beginning, they have honestly done a really great job with this one. The price, well, the price is the painful part. As of right now, the price is sitting at right around $200. The RGB Plus version is more expensive, of course, because you'll find other more budget-friendly options, but I think that since it includes the hub and the fans and the RGB frames, which are the new model and are a bit pricey, I think that if you can treat yourself, I'd say go for it, because it's a really nice PC case. Plus, with this illuminated logo, it looks pretty good, so I'm telling you, I really like it. If you can, go ahead and buy it, and if not, well, there are other models. from this brand that are a bit more affordable. But for me, honestly, knowing it's around $200, it's worth it. So friends, that's it for today's review. I hope it was helpful and that you liked it. If either of those things happened, you know the drill. Leave a like, subscribe, and share so we can reach many more people and finally grow the channel. So any comments about this PC case, about this product, or any questions you have, leave them for me and I'll respond almost the same day. So if I have a little bit of time, I will respond to you. So that's all for now. Thanks again so much for being there, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.